Viper, and then Derek actually electing not to go Sova and actually putting a Cypher on the map. So that's very interesting to go without a Sova on such a large map.
Yeah, that's definitely, I think, the biggest kind of key differential between both of these squads is the fact that it's Sage on one side, Sova on the other, and then your choice of Sentinel kind of between the mix of whatever you so prefer, whether it's the Killjoy or the Cypher. But as we get into the pistol, will be a pretty passive setup here for Ryze. And one of the things that, you need to keep in mind is that Ryze has been very creative over the course of this stage, and it'd be really interesting just not having a chance to see them at all throughout this map. What do they have in store for us?
Yeah, not really sure, as we are seeing Ryze kind of set up for the A split here. They're being able to get control over towards switch position. Already had the entry on the Shazam as well. They're attacking the pyramids, and they're getting some deep penetration into the site. But now we're seeing Dapper and Tense actually fighting it back very effectively.
Looking pretty solid. Even trades coming through. Boys trying to keep some space to work with. The Tens has established threat over the middle of the map. Spike is still down just outside of A, and Poised nearly gets an angle, but can't quite convert the shots. And of course, Tens will punish. That'll be no problem whatsoever, but Neptune looking to at least still get this Spike planted, and it doesn't seem like that will be what he's able to go. 1v3 now.
I'd imagine A is going to be the more friendly target, right? B's a lot more claustrophobic. It's a very tight choke point to get in there unless you're able to actually get some top mid control and get the tunnel. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what Ryze's attacking strategy is going to be going forward, but we probably won't learn too much this round, Shift.
No, probably not too much at all. Just see if you can get some ultimate orbs, get a little bit of resource generation going on. Shazam going to take over the middle of the map once more as he peeks through the A double doors. Recon Bolt will be destroyed. Shake's having a little bit of a battle here with the sentry turret, which Dapper says, yep, I'll take that fight every day of the week. And in fact, the sentry turret does come into play for an elimination.
There you go. Dapper's turret may have more frags than some of Ryze at this point. Always a stat line you don't want to be on the wrong end of, but obviously early days, so you can't really blame them, as Sentinels are just spreading all across center of the map and having no trouble mopping things up with upgraded weapons. It's what we've come to expect in situations like these, but Ryze will be able to battle against the Sentinels bonus next round. That's when they can try to make their first statement here on Breeze, as they'll be able, if you've spotted someone. All right, so they get a little bit of that. It's going to be a lot of reliance on Neptune in that regard. So they're going to flash to Pillar to try to get Shank set up early, just to kind of make sure there's no one cheating from Sentinels aggressively. However, we can see that there is that taking place elsewhere on the match. Shazam's push cave. That's a very powerful position to have with that Spectre. He's going to basically be guaranteed an up-close and personal fight if someone comes that direction. He could also maybe lurk behind, but he's also kind of in a one-and-done spot as well. So it's a little bit risky, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, you will have the ability, I think, for Sentinels defensively to rotate over quickly in case you do see point of contact. Also, an alarm bot placed up towards the top side of vents. So Sentinels will rotate a third member over to B just to essentially fortify and be a bastion there right as the entry will come through. But Ryze again trying to come on over. Shazam, unexpectedly so, makes his play over towards Cave. Able to get a lot of damage done, but can't find the kill. So Superman for the first. And now all of a sudden, Shanks from mid-map. He can actually dash on in and maybe clear a little bit extra space here as Ryze attacks.
Yeah, he's had such, heavy mid control over towards that mid door for quite some time now, so he can be that extra angle of attack. They're going to flash through the Viper wall and start making some progress on that A site. Spike will go down, and basically the defense is being funneled through defending spawn. Shanks does get caught in mid, however, so it equals the numbers back up, and now Sentinels have something to launch off of.
And they're already here to contest Neptune. Guiding Light will go through, able to find the flash, but 10 stays alive. Able to get the Cloud Burst in to gain separation while he's found at the top with the Marshal. But Neptune able to take one with him. Derek's still a part of the play as well, just a little bit deeper. Good help coming through, but Zombs trades things back. 2v1 favoring the Sentinels defense, but Derek fully healthy. Not going to be able to find Zombs in time, so it's 3 for the Viper player of Sentinels. And how about 3 on the board for Sentinels as a squad?
Yeah, I mean, it was some good ideas early on in that round from Ryze, right? They were able to get Shanks pretty deep, give them a little bit of space, but not a whole lot of firepower to back it up.
No, not at all, especially when you have 10s on the other side. That's going to have the one-shot wonder of the operator in the mix. Aldrone able to free 6, so get a little bit further forward. And yeah, that's just going to be one of those problems that Ryze is going to need to find a solution to, because that's free every day of the week and twice on Sunday for Sentinels.
Yeah, I mean, what they relied on before was just using their side flashes to be able to get up middle and try to scare Sentinels away from taking these aggressive mid stances. But yeah, in a round like this, they don't have the resources to commit to that. And it's kind of getting eaten up right now. It's going to be 4-0 in favor of Sentinels, and maybe another flawless round for Sentinels. Yeah. The second flawless round of the half. So they are really kicking it into gear early on here.
Oof. I mean, it's one of those things that you don't expect Ryze to obviously find the round going up against the operator of 10s and full rifles, but still, it's like you would love to see something. I mean, they're barely even getting out of spawn at the moment, Dust. I mean, it's not looking all that positive. And this is a round where I hate to say it so early on to the series, but this is going to feel like a must win. I mean, you've only gotten two plants off so far. One was in the pistol,
at least show some promise, right? Get into like a post-plant 2 versus 2, you know, try to make that progress because, yeah, they did had some interesting things go on their opening gun round against the Sentinels bonus. Like, they were able to get some space, able to make some things happen, but now they're starting to get picked apart. Forward progression, again, denied early on here. Ten's looking for a second, misses, able to dash away, though, and evade.
Dapper, though, from the Cloudburst, able to find 2, tries to spam down for a 3rd. Not able to quite lock it down, but Shazam is there for the help, and Tens will make sure the front side of Cave stays safe. And yeah, this is going to be likely another flawless coming through unless Derek can do something, but even doing something may not be enough. He's going to have to do a lot here. And he's got every single Sentinel member looking at him. And yeah, another flawless comes through in...
That's, again, I think they're certainly hurting not having an owl drone to help scope out mid. I think that they're also just, you know, struggling to find any space. They've had like one round that kicked off correctly, and everything else has been a struggle.
Even here, Shazam sees the information that there are a number of Rise members mid-map. To commit a little bit more utility just to see what exactly is going on, while actually it's Rise largely trying to take over the backside of Curve over towards B. Rotating over, though, is Shazam, so he's going to be playing topside platform, and this is going to be a really good look for him. Yeah, sees all the information again. No utility needed for that bit of intel, though.
On target.
Yeah, able to step out and grab Neptune as well. Spot Superman, he's done for as well, and Shazam getting all the intel he needs as well as bringing members down. Spots to Spike, does eventually go out, but Dapper and Ten's able to trade right back, no problem. And it's going to be 6-0 for Sentinels, and while this is not a flawless round, this is probably the 5th round that's half they survive with 4 members at the very least. So they are sweeping through this game right now. Something's got to give quickly here, as they are just getting outgunned. I mean, all back middle. I'm not sure what protocols they have in place for that, but it seems like right now they're struggling to even just get a platform to launch off of.
Well, this time, all 5 members, save just Shanks, are going to be making their way over towards B.
I mean, that's tough, too. Look at that. They're having the cost of trailblazer just to clear out elbow position. That doesn't really give you anything. You're not getting top middle. You're not, you know, threatening B tunnel. You know, you're not really gaining a whole lot from that. All you're really doing is making sure that you're not getting pushed mid. And then you're just kind of sitting back in a holding pattern. I mean, look at all the utility they're spending just to make sure they're not getting pushed mid right now.
Yeah.
It's tough because I feel like that's not really maximizing the value of that utility.
Well, the Aldrin also came out defensively to make sure there was no counter push coming from Rise as well. So Sentinels are going to feel pretty confident that they're safe in mid-map. Flash also came through just to make sure that Shazam could peek one more time. And then, yeah, nothing has been seen. So 50 seconds on the clock, and Supa is actually rotating back over towards A. Could be a fake wall, then execute to B, which it does seem like that very well may be the case. But that means that you got a 3v2 over towards B. You have to effectively clear.
At least Shanks is going to build off of this. It's not just the wall being thrown out there. He's actually going to put pressure with the daggers. That's going to help sell the fake even more. He's going to lay some smokes down. He's definitely keeping A interested, but he's not done enough to cause the full rotation. Sick is still playing inside B side. He's still got a teammate in B tunnels. He's found the opening pick.
And that's not great because Zato's watching the cross angle. Oh no, it's all gone wrong. You have to appreciate the energy, but the efficiency of it, not quite there. 15 seconds on the clock. Spike has been alleviated over towards the B zone itself. And of course, all Sentinels are going to rotate over. This is going to be another lost round. It is one of those that it feels like, okay, like Rise, you started to put together the right play. But at the same point, like you didn't fully execute with
timing to really fully commit Sick off of B side or to get Zombs to make his rotation as well. They were able to still keep 2 plate people in the vicinity when the attack came in and were able to handle it just fine.
Oh boy. Well, this is when the rubber meets the road here for Rise. Need to find something. Tens is starting to feel really feisty too. Even pulling out the blades here. Fury Orb comes through. Flashpoint also in the mix. Dapper though watching the corner. Finds 2 more again. It's just the crossfire setup. How do you get rid of this? Apparently you just don't.
That's twice now that Dats from that corner position by mid doors has been able to line up a multi-frag with very little response out of Rise to retaliate.
Oh, now the Viper's pick defensively will lock down B. Heavy defensive stack on numbers for Sentinels over towards
Sick
A.
as mid.
Yep, where do you go? I mean, this is a slice of Swiss cheese with no holes in it at the moment. But Rise able to find one, but that may be about it. Even trades coming through. Even Tens with the Sheriff. My goodness. Defending lockdown also in play, and that's going to be trouble here for Rise. Even though they do destroy it, but there's nowhere to go. Shanks tries to dash away, but Tens was waiting for it. And now it's just down to Derek up top. Tens going to hit that shot, but that's fine. Sick is there for the assistance, and it's a 9-0 early.
Yeah, this is... I almost feel like I'm witnessing a crime that I should be reporting to some type of proper authority. I feel like there's some type of bystander effect going on, and man, I feel a little bit guilty. Should we call someone?
I mean, we might have to.
I don't know who we can.
Maybe Bach or Van Silly will know. I mean, they're in studio right there. Like,
yeah.
Is there anyone
might
local
need to break
that they
open
can
the
call?
red phone. Break open the red phone in case of emergency. Break glass now. You know, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, again, that round, I feel like the key point of that was that second kill Tins got out the sheriff on on Halls. Without that, I think that the trading was actually going okay for Rise. They were starting to again get that multi-prong attack on A, starting to get some space. It's just when Tins is able to find Sanctuary at Pyramid and get that second frag, it just changed everything. And then hell, Shanks just dashes out into oblivion. I mean, they just seem like they're lost.
Definitely not great. Sick able to read that there are 2 players through the elbow. Trailblazer, Guiding Lights will go out. Zom's still feeling pretty greedy over towards B, and why not? He hasn't really been dealt with at all yet. Nope. He's going to have help on the rotation through mid. Here comes the hit from Rise. All 5 members coming through. Derek able to find one. Okay, opportunity here. The defensive toxic screen, not going to be allowed to see too much, but Zoms is using this to his advantage so darn well. Finds 2. Had a really solid read on where the third would have been coming from, but can't quite find the triple, and with that, maybe a chance to actually get the spike planted.
Maybe, but there's Hunter's Fury available, and then he's going to stall out that plant right now, and Dapper comes in for a couple off the back of it. Superman is able to respond, but it's still a tough 2 versus 2 with Spike still not planted.
And Dapper's on the backside, trying to open up a little bit more space. Sentry turret down. Jake's going to get revealed and dealt with. Shazam able to find that kill, no problem. Supa on the corner, can't block down the shots. Had maybe an opportunity for an impressive 1v2 if he could have snapped to the second, but never finished the first, and it's going to be 10-0 to Sentinels.
That's the closest round Rise has had this entire. Comes back to Rise's map pool woes. When you have Icebox as a weakness and you haven't played Breeze yet and official to really know where you stand, it makes it really hard to navigate that series.
That's something we brought up even during their run for Challengers 2. You know, yeah, it was one of those win 2 before you lose 2 situations. They were able to do that, but only if barely. And they still, we kind of talked about it when we were watching it over live, was there are some big gaps for not just Rise, but a number of teams when it comes to Breeze being added to the map pool and maybe not being necessarily as well versed on it as you need to be. First couple of kills coming through for Sentinels, 5v3 situation, and honestly speaking, Rise is a bit trapped here in the middle of the map with Seekers chasing him down.
At least have been able to get Shazam back here, so able to get a little bit of mid control established. They have the push here through A Halls as well by Derek, and he might even be able to get a little bit of a flank off here on the Tins. Actually spots Dapper and Tins and gets them both, and that is what they finally needed to break something open. It's a nice aggressive flank maneuver.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
What did we just watch?
I don't know, but if Sans wins this 1 versus 2, you might as well stick a fork in Rise for this map. They need to close this.
Yeah. They've got a good post-play position. That's the decent kind of situation at the moment. Toxic Screen can play with time here. Zoms is fully healthy, though. But has to clear so much space.
Oh, yeah.
That's the biggest issue. You just don't know if there's someone lurking behind a box somewhere. Rise
no utility either to cover yourself.
Yeah. Rise very well should have this round, no problem. But Zoms, of course, going to give it a go. Why not? More than enough economy to play with. So you'll toggle, just maybe see if there's any information. He will catch the spike here. Nice overhead view of where exactly the snake bite's coming out, and there will not be enough time to defuse here. And Super beyond that will also not even give the consideration
for Sentinels, and it might have been not only flawless rounds that Sentinels been getting all game long, but a flawless map. But at least Rise able to put that one on the board.
And who knows what they have defensively for us. You would love to get this second round, though, just to keep the potential of a dramatic comeback alive. But Shazam will find first blood. That's up the middle of the map. Shanks walking into sight through the toxic cloud. But he will be revealed, and oh boy. Now all of a sudden, Sentinels will be very aware of the threat, and Seekers will have to come through, largely just to make sure that there is some sort of an exit here for Shanks.
Yeah, lockdown going in here for Dapper. They'll try to kind of entrench on this site. Shanks still able to get the pick onto Tins. They're starting to make some forward progress here, trying to see if they can get all the way and stop this lockdown, but Dapper going to disallow that, and now they're in some real trouble.
Just going to commit for the plant, though. Nobody will be detained by this Neptune. Going to be shrugged back, and oh my goodness, the damage is severe. Shazam still a part of this hit, just not really giving rid of the sight. We'll find one and a second. Sick also a part of it, and my goodness. I wouldn't even call it a retake. It's just a recontest of what was a post plant. Unbelievable resiliency from Sentinels again.
Yeah, it was a consistent theme throughout the half. Just Rise never able to crack open truly a bunch of rounds where they only lost 1 player. So they really did pretty much clean sweep that half. The win blemish, which I'm sure they're not too upset about. In their 3 games they played on Breach prior to this, they won no less than 4 attacking rounds. So that should put them on pace to close, but we'll see if Rise can try to muster up something here, as we see Sentinels just playing a pretty spread offense here, kind of keeping tabs on any type of push through cave, while also, you know, clearing out elbow position and just kind of keeping their options open.
And they're making a little bit of noise. Shazam also in position to potentially seek out some information over towards A. It looks like the Spike is happy to rotate that direction for what eventually seems to be a hit. Now, defensively, for the side of Rise, they are a little short-handed here because you've got no slow orbs. You've got really no decay ability either, because both your Sage and your Viper on the other side. And here comes the information, and with that also the hit. Still not rotating, though, as Rise. Sentinels already taking away a lot of space, but the Cyber Trap will be there for Derek. Able to find one. That'll be a good start for the defense.
Yeah, they're able to start kind of backing up and just kind of playing these longer range battles now with the pistols, as Sentinels, though, able to close in on Pyramid, get the spike down, get a frag back to themselves, get it back into a 4-on-4 situation. Now they can just kind of use this wall as sanctuary and kind of force Rise to press forward.
Not expecting the immediate response, though, but Rise still come away with a 3-for-1. So it is just down to Shazam, 1v3 situation, playing a bit more of a passive angle. Does he have a look at where the spike is planted is the real question. No, he does not, because there is a wall down in front of him. Oh, but Shazam able to find one, able to find 2, but not able to get over the top of the wall for the 3rd. So Boyd sticking for the defuse will allow Rise the pistol win.
Indeed it will, and that is more of a survival requirement than really, you know, putting them in a position to come back just yet, but at least that's the first box checked off, and so that'll keep them going. That'll get them onto SMGs, and we are seeing a pretty decent investment, though, from Sentinels. They're going to get some Sheriffs and a Marshal out there. They're not looking to full save. They're looking to invest, and we'll see if they can throw a wrench in the plans of Rise with it.
4 kills with a plant. Sentinels feeling frisky. Maybe pulling out the old strat from the playbook, the we're just better strat, and just let's see what happens. I mean, you would have a lot of ground to stand on if you wanted to make that argument that at the moment you are just better. But Rise, pretty solid defense, and now some extra weapons to try to fortify whatever they decide to do here. And you, well, for a moment, so you have 3 members over towards B. Again, there's really no ability for Rise to even check nor clear mid-map, though. That's the big problem.
Yeah, it is indeed. Sentinels do have a lot of space here, but it's about making that next breakthrough and actually getting onto one of these sites. It's going to come down to timing, as there is a cam watching that mid-doors position, waiting to see if Sentinels are indeed looking to approach in that direction. In the meantime, Tiz is holding on to middle. He's making sure no one's rotating through B, through mid just yet. There is still plenty of defense, though, in place at Halls and in the site itself, and they're very aware of this mid-doors attack.
Shanks for 1, but the immediate response from 6. Also tagged up to the play with Derek. He's going to try to have to lock things down with the Odin, or pardon me, the Ares, and will be able to do so with 2. 10 still able to gain some space to work with up towards the front side of site. Boy's trying to meet him. 10 still finds 1, dashes away. And the door will be shut in the play, but not quite fast enough. Boy's able to find 1 in return, and it just falls onto the shoulders of 10. 1v2 situation with the Sheriff, and Supa will clean things up.
It's Rise bonus, and they need to somehow find a way to convert this, otherwise they are going to be against the Sentinels map point.
You win this one, though, if you're Rise and you start to maybe establish a little bit of confidence. Hey, we can play up against these guys. Let's just not let that offensive half dictate the entire series.
Look at how free Sentinels are getting mid, man. They are already in B tunnels this early in the round. And the
Breeze out of the conversation for a touch. So it's definitely not as strange to see him kind of show up in this instance, but it will be kind of interesting just to see how Sick handles the agent. And I think most specifically, like how aggressive does he want to use it? Because, you know, watching him play on the Sky, like you mentioned, a lot of the flex duelists are using that Sky in an aggressive flash form for initiation. So what does Sick have to offer for the KO?
Yeah, the trend really has been in North American scene to see a lot of the secondary duelists start flexing into Sky or KO. Sky's been the more popular option, I would say, but certainly you have seen some KO out there elsewhere in the region, so not too big of a shocker. So you are going to see Rise looking to step to the plate here. Look for this B attack early in the pistol. They've already found a pick on the Sick. That's going to put a lot of stress now on Dapper.
The knife did come out. He thought for a moment it was going to stall Rise out a little bit further because there's just no way to initiate on in, but able to find the crossing picks, and then Shanks finds one beyond it. Neptune taking away some space through the mid, able to get a regrowth off. That's going to get Shanks nice and healthy for a moment, while poised, able to get the spike planted. So the retake will be now 3v5, and with 10's only on 12 HP, you don't feel great about Sentinel's chances to get in.
No, not at all. This is a very nice barrage from Rise early on at B, getting some nice clean opening picks. No real retaliation from Sentinels. And it's going to be a very tough retake. I can show it keeping solo on health.
Eric also playing through B main, able to find one. Zom's going to turn to see if he can maybe isolate. Tens is still not really a part of the picture as of yet. This is great from Derek. Just keep backing away. Bait Zoms into a very vulnerable position. Depends, what can you find? Ooh, not much. A lot of damage.
Then slipping through the cracks from some of the other top 10 teams in the region, like a Shanks, like a Superman, kind of bring them all underneath one roof. You know, figure out the roles, you know, get, you know, Neptune back onto kind of that secondary duelist kind of flex position, with Superman coming in to be the controller and with Poise being there to be the Sentinel, and everything just seems to fit. They seem to be a team that, when they're comfortable, when they're able to kind of get their footing, they are a team that tactically is, you know, pretty sound. So I'm hoping that this is a sign that they'll be able to get off on the right foot here on a sit and make the series competitive.
Here we go.
Like they're going to find a very vulnerable B site here.
Yeah, but this is a sentry turret bait. Big shout to the Obs team for pointing this one out. Dapper's going to wait for the sentry turret to do information, and then boom, boom, able to find one. That's not bad. 1 for 1 is actually exactly what the doctor would have ordered there. So it will be 4v4. Of course, Rise will have full clearance to get onto the B site like you mentioned, but they're still a bit cautious to see maybe there might be somebody else hiding in the corner, so the Aldrin will be spent. And it looks like as they do get clearance, Neptune will plant.
Yeah, smokes out on the back halls and on market position, so Sentinel's having to kind of just wait that out and play back. They do have another shorty on 10s that he could maybe dash in with and try to cause a little bit of a ruckus, but other than that, it's mostly just basic distance here.
Neptune, Teague, Staring also with it, and all the kills are so clean.
The bonus, we're seeing the full buyout from Sentinels, and we're going to see a little bit of A lobby control early on here from Rise.
Heavy stack of the Killjoy utility, though, right inside the front door of B main. Sentry turret is down offensively for Rise. Spike still lingering over towards the B area, but 10's mid-map is watching to see if he can maybe find anyone on the cross. He's going to have help, too. That's the big key here for Sentinels.
Yeah. Yeah, indeed. They're definitely having like a mid-centric defense here. This is going to allow them for quicker rotations to help reinforce B site, while as well as keeping tabs on any type of mid-round pivoting that Rise tries to make. The only thing they don't really know is what's going on at A lobby. They're having to play a lot more passive there due to, you know, their heavier stack towards middle. Now all of a sudden Aldrin is going to spot that one player at mid, but just the one. Stars start going down on B, so they're going to attack B. There's a heavy defense in place for this, man.
Yeah, there sure is, and oh boy, here comes the full-on flood. No one's going to get through the nanostorms, realistically speaking. Dapper even tallying a kill with this utility, as 2 more fell from behind as 10's crossed on in, and well, all of the hopes of Rise just flooding into the site were just immediately quelled by the fact that you have so much Killjoy utility here.
Not to mention basically 4 defenders in place by the time the take was underway. Just, you know, again, having that team's on ascent to see where things stand. As once again, we do see that Rise are looking for some early emphasis over towards that A lobby to get that orb in play.
And for Rise, you know, again, just kind of looking at their previous results, yeah, it's a bit of a mixed bag. You mentioned a couple of their losses. They couldn't even find double digits. But with the one thing that we kept mentioning, even in some of those losses, is their offensive half. They've shown good variability and flexibility, but they need to find a way to put Sentinel on the back foot. And well, Sig was able to get away. The 0-point knife did come through to make sure that there was no immediate follow-up. So him finding first blood. Zom's there to help Dapper as well. Oh man, it's just any time that Rise starts to gain ground, Sentinels are so quick to rotate, they take it away almost instantaneously.
Yeah, even you were seeing Rise kind of feint to put Rise onto the upgraded pistols, the one Spectre on Poised.
Scanning ahead.
Similar defensive setup as far as the utility is concerned for Sentinels, but once more, you're going to get Dapper moving aggressively with B main and 10's with the operator. No problem with taking aggressive peek. Poised 1v1, still wants it, even though the sentry turret was there, plus the spam from Shazam. So Easy follow-up elimination. Super's able to find not just one, but two. Impressive from his POV, you have to imagine. But Dapper does respond to the trade. We have a 3v2 situation. Shanks goes the dive today back over towards A, but not able to convert. And it's just now down to Derek, who was in the Aldrone flight, never able to really follow up on a trade.
Yeah, I mean, just try to, get that nice, comfortable, slow opening.
Standing ahead.
Different setup, though, defensively for Dapper, moving all of his utility over towards Tree this time. So, again, this is one of the things that we kind of came to know from Sentinels when they were playing this map, is the flexibility to go back and forth between the sites is very fluid. And it's, again, going to force Rise to have to read this and respond. That's the big key. It's still Sentinels on the initiative, even though they're on the defensive side.
It also lets them stack A with more personnel and feel safe doing it when you have this much utility in place from Aster and Killjoy to stall, do damage, and kind of give them a foothold back into A side if they're going to need it later on. The only thing they don't know is what's going on at middle. That's kind of forcing Sick to play a little bit more passively in defending spawn. Stars are now coming down low on market and back halls, but they don't know about Tins in the back.
Sam also misses the play. The shock dart's coming through, trying to stay alive as Tens, working for spaces. He did find one of the operators. Quickly rotating over is going to be Sick, but even Shazam will fall. So now it is onto the shoulders of Sick. He's been revealed. Neptune wants the fight. Has help from Derek, but Sick changes the angle and lines them both up. Unreal. Supa not able to find anything versus...
Again, it's just like little details that are being overlooked that are haunting Rise in some of these rounds.
Oh, Sick is going to take over mid-map. 0 point able to allow him forward. Does get information that Poise was nearby. Dapper's also pushing through B main. So all of a sudden, you forced Rise to have to commit to A, which they're happy to do. I mean, they're already here, but Sick is taking care of the back. That'll allow him a chance now to flank. The spike does get planted, so Rise, you need to respond. And honestly speaking, if you can get this weapon from Sick, maybe there is a chance to still hold the post-plant situation. But it is if you can find the kill on the Sick, and there it is. Neptune also in the same breath able to find one on a Dapper. So the numbers are 3v3, and it's actually Sentinels that has to respond forward as the Hunter's Fury comes to delay the retake.
Yeah, it's a big kill from Neptune as well up tree position. So the favorable situation for Sentinels is now being whittled away by Rise, who are playing very intelligently in this small number situation. They're able to now entrench with the 3-on-1. It's only Tins. He's able to pick up a Phantom here. He's got some health to play with, but he doesn't have the time and not even able to find the exit. And honestly, man, I cannot believe Sentinels fumbled the ball there. They had the superior firepower. They had the deep...
We've got nothing over the middle that we can do. Nothing towards B. Let's just full commit into A. They do get themselves set up. They do take advantage of the weapons. And Rise now looking to stay aggressive. Gravity Well will allow a chance to find Sick. And then Tens maybe a bit of an over-aggressive challenge gets punished by Shanks. So now a 5-on-3 early for Rise's offense as they attack A.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if this round and what we saw last round is going to finally force Sentinels to kind of sit back and respect Rise. Yeah, you had your way with them on Breeze. And yeah, you had a couple of good opening gun rounds in this map. But now they're getting a little bit careless in some of these rounds, you feel like. Like, that secondary peak from Tens. Yes, he's an incredible player, perhaps the best in the world. But when you have a high-low waiting for you to make that play, you're likely going to get traded, best case scenario. So I feel like I wouldn't say Sentinels will come off the gas pedal yet, but it's just been a couple of rounds that got a little bit careless. And then Rise, again,
we do have just a Spectre and a Bulldog into 2 of your 5 members' hands. 10 still does have the Operator, though, so that investment still one that needs to be calculated and assessed from Rise's POV as far as what they want to do to try to mitigate it. And how about 10? Speaking of, still staying aggressive. He's already taken away all of B main.
Yeah, that's big because it allows more flexibility for them to stack this A side of the map. They're going to be able to owl drone out middle to make sure that no deep mid control is being taken right now by Rise. They even spot Derek there at the top of middle. So they're getting a little bit of intel here. As we were seeing that Rise was trying to play that more shallow smoke and use that to threaten tree position. Problem is that there's a lot of Killjoy and Asher utility ready for that very type of play, and you can see Rise are sitting back anticipating Sentinels to get aggressive here, which why the heck not? Sentinels have certainly shown that, track record throughout this series. And so it's understandable that you'd see Rise be a little bit cautious, but now they're going to have to start committing here. Looks like they are already setting up for an A set piece, but again, there's already 3 defenders in place and a lot of utility to battle through.
And keep in mind, you still have the ability for the Fragment to come out from Sick or the Nullify. He's actually going to commit to getting on towards site. Defending Lockdown will come out. Rise will have to back away. This is going to put a lot of pressure on them timing-wise. There's only 35 seconds on the clock.
Yep. They have to hope that Shanks is able to get this penetrating flank through defending spawn to help re-unlock. Hey, now they have their own lockdown they can place now in the late round as well. So that's going to help them get some space on site, and then it's going to come down to Shanks.
Headshot.
Oh, Shanks does find one on the cross, looking for a second. That'd be big. Wants to chase down Sick, who will run away over towards the safety of where the Killjoy was positioned with all their utility. Dapper going to be tested, and Boys will find the next elimination. But Zombs firing back. 6 seconds on the clock. Spike will be planted, no problem. But it's a 4v3. And with this Cosmic Divide down, it's really on the Sentinels to make the next move. And all 3 members stacked up towards heaven. 0 point will come out. You also have the ability potentially try to fight this back from Rise, as you did see a counter recon bolt be placed. But now it's up to Sentinels. Have to get on, have to test it. Superman in the corner. Flash will come through. Superman now able to find one isolated. Also gets to read that everybody is up top here. And oh boy, it doesn't look like Sentinels are really going to have a chance at this. Already backing away from the fight is sick.
Yeah, this is one of the main confident wins we've seen out of Rise in this series. I'm not trying to short them, but this round really was truly theirs. It wasn't Sentinels making a mistake or anything like that. They fought hard for that round. They earned every single inch of it. Being able to play out the timing so perfectly that round shift, being able to usage to a T to make sure they get the most out of it. And that was a really well-designed round, and they deserved the lead.
You kind of feel like that 1v1 for Shanks on the cross may have just determined the entire outcome in the first place as well, because you don't find that kill, all of a sudden Sentinels can maybe fights back still, even though there was still that offensive lockdown place. But regardless of that point, we get into round number 10. Rise currently up 5-4, and they will have the ability to bring an operator to the table of their own. But as we saw Sick escape, he did find one elimination and then drops the op back for 10. So still ability for double snipers to be in play.
Also have the null command available here on Sick as well, to maybe shut down an attack or set up a retake. Neptune is going to get darted here. Sick was trying to maybe take advantage. He doesn't want to overcommit, though. He knows that he could still get hit by B-Link or top middle. He's able to get the kill, but yeah, there is Derek right there on the Link to get the trade. So that's going to favor Rise a bit because they get a 4-on-4 and they start getting some deeper access over towards tree position. Also, while maintaining presence at middle. Going to send the owl drone forward as well to kind of get some intel and threaten maybe an even deeper middle push. All the while bringing the Spike around over towards A lobby to go ahead and go for that set piece. They'll just have to try to battle through the Astra utility. All right. Do see a rotation from Dapper, though, so there could be a decent defense in place here by the time they get in the site.
And with Neptune down, Shanks has to pull out the blades. He's the only initiative power that is actually here for Rise, and Zom's able to find one. Not bad. The trade Shazam playing from the corner, able to take down the final 2. Just down now to Derek 1v3. Not a lot of time to make this play happen, and a lot of ground that needs to be traversed. And yeah, it does seem like Sentinels had a pretty good idea on where Derek previously was and where he probably was coming back from. So
that's going to tie things right back up here. Full buy for both teams. Alt advantage, though, certainly does rest with Rise. They have 3-0. All right, other way around.
0 point from Sick, just to allow Tens a chance to get this angle. First peek. Sees one, backs away. My goodness. Sam also over across the middle of the map, trying to get the Hunter's Fury into play, but Neptune finds the trade. Rise still not going to commit here to A. A lot of time to play with, and they're happy to take the 4v4 from here on out, as the Nullify was spent from Sick to try to make sure the Sentinels could rotate if they needed to.
Yeah, this kind of slows everything down for a second here, but as you said, the 4-on-4 usually going to favor the attacking side. It forces the defense to take a little bit more risk, you know, stack a little bit more, over-rotate a bit more, bite down on pressure. And they are putting a lot of trust, of course, in Dapper. Just kind of anchored this B side so they can kind of reinforce A, which is the right choice, fortunately for them, as it does look like that's indeed what they're going to be looking for. I think the interesting thing will be what Derek is able to do with this mid lurk. Yeah. And how that's going to impact, you know, maybe cutting off Dapper's rotation or getting in the back lines, creating pressure and making it a little bit easier for A to be taken by his teammates. I say just back off all the way.
30 seconds left.
Yeah. They have no info on B lobby, so this is going to be hard with such little time left.
25 seconds to 0 point. Did find information on the 2. Seekers coming out. Sentinels, they already have defense members here. They can just keep trusting the fact that Dapper can hold B by themselves. But Derek's working through mid-map. The sentry turret has seen this. 12 seconds on the clock. Isn't there even enough time to allow this fight to get into the site? Dapper just needs to find the one kill, and the round's just going to be over. And there it is. This running forward. Points have to sprint for it. Dapper with the kill. There's not enough time to play. You've got to win this off the kills themselves. But a flash comes out. Dapper finds the second. And
essentially, he has to take down the turret from outside market, and then with there just being such little time left, yeah, it comes down to 1-1v1 at that point to win or lose the round. Again, I think if they would have ran that play just a few seconds earlier, it could have been a different story.
This will look familiar, though. Sick gets freed up mid-map. Ten's there to make sure he can get there, but there will be no flank this time. Rise gonna have to fully commit to getting over towards A. They should be pretty aware that they have lost mid-map. Aldrin coming through late. How much information will this see? Sir seems like a bunch. Gravity well will be spent. Shanks, though, able to push forward. Rarick able to find first blood. Also Sick detained. Another player is also there detained as well. So Rise will have full vacancy to get onto A and hopefully get a plant down sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I mean, they get a really strong 5-on-4 post plant now thanks to the lockdown, as well as 2 players being detained along the way. Also, just a big pick on the bombs early on, and yeah, they're just locking this one up, it seems.
One enemy
Very
remaining.
positive for them. Sick can't do too much. Last player left alive is Dapper. The 1v5 finds the first. Not necessarily as clean as you're probably going to need. Shock Dart will not finish the job. Superman's going to get there first, and a sick
Lobby, and we just try to pack a huge wall up early.
Yeah. Again, this is a first look for us when it comes to Sentinels using this KO for Sick. The 0 point comes out, Owl Drone to follow. Nebula's have been placed. Flash will come out. Sick's going to use that to not just move forward, but also allow Tens a chance. But the Nova Pulse able to get used. Poise finds one. Wants to find more than that. Going to use the turret as a little bit of assistance, but Zombs denies and penalizes a second. So Spike looking to get planted. Shanks is quick to try to rotate over, but there is a door in his way. And oh my goodness,
Spike
Derek!
down
A little
A.
floater comes over the top. Able to find one. Shanks now able to use this door position for a second. Dapper caught underneath, but
standing.
is that actually okay for him? Able to find at least a chance to get one. Shazam able to find the elimination, but stuck backside arches.
When he's being faced like that, really brilliantly handled around there from Rise. Definitely could tell if they had their protocols in place to retake this.
And you know, this just speaks to Derek. We haven't really had a lot of time to kind of talk to Tail about what this Rise team has gone through with kind of the revolving door of roster changes through the first and second stages. But Derek being brought into this team has really kind of cemented and been the glue to hold this squad together. He's been great, and now look at this. Sentinels looking to get aggressive over through tree. Again, a lot of utility dispersed on the site. 0 point will come through. Poise going to be tested here, but does have a lot of really kind of conditions in place to keep him alive, but will be Sick for a trade. Superman able to try to keep the play alive defensively. Able to find one and a second. Should know that Zombs is nearby and not going to be required to find the kill as Shanks was there for the assist.
Yeah, really good job there by Superman. He's been probably the most consistent performer on Rise throughout the last few months. You know, coming in, obviously they made the swap, Calypso and Showtime being dropped to bring in players like Superman and like Derek. And Superman has been one of their top performers throughout most of their series throughout this stage, and very crafty plays there with the Spectre around the smoke in the center of the site to double up and really kind of alleviate any pressure that Sentinels were putting on with their initial take on the site. Shanks will finish things off there with the Ares until they broke up.
Very well, maybe an aggressive hit, and take a look. Watch for the early pick here. Shanks is looking to get aggressive over the middle, and Nebula will make sure he doesn't actually get an angle. Sentinel's looking to aggress through the middle of the map with this Owl Drone, and it's going to be Neptune who's going to be here first with a little bit of assistance from Poise. Need to find at least one here.
And they didn't even spot Neptune. That's a greatly timed flash for him to peek off of as well. Does catch Zombs, and he's got help right there next to him as he continue to put the pressure here through Market. Neptune doubles up. How does he find that third? Maybe it's the last bullets on the magazine to discover that one.
And now the Trailblazers are coming back as they read this play 100% correctly. The spike has been dropped mid-match. Got Shanks walking across. Sentinels have to commit to playing through B main, and there's really no ground to work with whatsoever. And Shanks makes sure there is also no exit.
Really put the icing on the cake of that one, and now it's going to be Sentinels back into a low buy.
Looking to make sure they can establish some pressure through B main. A couple of the star placements are here to try to keep Rise safe defensively, and still Poised is also a part of this defensive stronghold over towards B. Neptune again, looking for a counter flash, maybe looking to time this with Derek. There's the peek, does see Sick, but backs away. And really nothing gained, nothing lost from either team on the early point of contact.
Tense gets caught though, trying to make that push up middle. Thanks to Derek, who's looking to see if he's got anyone else there with him. Just getting that extra bit of information. Holding pattern still just kind of being held all across the map here by Rise. No real need to jump too much. Tends to continue to try to apply that pressure to middle, maybe try to get some market access and maybe try to help switch this inside. Obviously an alarm bot though will be there. He is able to shoot it down, but now they know that market is a threat. How does Rise respond?
Neptune maybe misses the opportunity. Derek also could not keep a Poise, playing from the opposite angle to find one. Knows that there's more established pressure coming through B main, and maybe even gets caught up. The Tense doesn't actually read the play correctly, so now Poise gets involved, but Shazam! He's found 3 with the Sheriff! This would be an ace and a 1v2, and he's got an AR to work with. This is definitely doable. Also has the spike in hand, wants to try to ban out the sound cue, but Supa beats him to the punch.
Allows you to kind of sweep through and get that, you know, extra ramp angle onto B for yourself. So I'll be curious to see if that comes into play in a later gun round, as we see a little bit more of a default opening this time.
Shanks looking to get aggressive mid-map.
Obscuring vision.
Got a look at Tens, but it was nothing but that, just a look. Trailblazer defensively going to clear out B main, and with that, Shanks is actually going to very quickly rotate to get an aggressive angle, launching that early point of ingress, but Sentinel's not interested in B. already stacking up towards tree. Poise is going to be the first one a part of this. Has a lot of utility here. It's not committed to using any, but yeah, actually a lot of it getting deleted, and he's going to have to back away.
Indeed he is, has to break the window as well, so that's going to give, you know, Sentinels a silent way to approach Heaven the back way if they so choose. Seekers is going to come through to try to get some defensive room back over at Tree. Boy still anchoring here behind the generator, trying to handle all the utility being lobbed his way, and he does it great. Gets a couple of big kills.
You can knife me out if you want, does not make a difference.
One another, and Superman and Poise going to get the job done there, the brothers. Coming up big.
How about Poise just getting out of that position from Tree in the first place after the threat was coming through? That very well may have been the difference maker to allow him a chance to still hold defensively and get that utility into play. But Sentinels empty so far on the offense through our first 5 rounds here. And back to pistols.
And my fault. It's actually Poise and Shanks who are brothers, so I got that one a little wrong. Actually, really wrong. I can't save myself there. I did. At least I corrected myself.
That's true.
As we are on the all sheriffs. Sentinels here. Trying to just see if they can't find a nice little pick and try to get something created. Not a whole lot to go behind it as they're just trying to walk forward. Shock dart, but Superman's still able to get the kill.
Now Neptune playing in the middle of gravity well, actually. Not able to find too much, but does create opportunity for his teammates. Poised for 2. Still staying hot here on this defensive side is Poised. Dapper, last one left alive. 1v4 would be what he's required to find here. Shoulders from Shanks, the secondary piece from Derek. No problem.
Queens having only played this map once in the last few months. And we've seen what we wanted to see out of Rise, right? We've seen their craftiness, their ability to play as a team. Something that we did not get to see at all on Breeze.
And beyond that, I was just about to say, we have not really been able to talk much about Sick on this KO. It really feels like his impact has been marginalized, but the same wave. He comes through, finds first blood to make me look absolutely ridiculous. Still Neptune, maybe thinking about trying to poke through this nebula. Dapper is holding this position and actually does catch Poise. So the elimination comes through. Sentinels looking prime for an offensive round, even 10s. Finding Neptune just before the door shuts on the play. So Shanks maybe, hopefully, for 1, but that will be all he will commit to. 10s wants to take the double updraft peek, but not able to find the kill. So it's just up to Derek to see maybe if he can find an exit. I largely feel like he's probably just going to spam and then very likely to back away.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're very quickly seeing that playing this KO on 6 still allows Sentinels to play at the same pace you'd expect from a double duelist composition, where you're still able to be very fast, very explosive, very decisive. You know, using those self-pop flashes, getting that extra bit of intel with the dagger, and then using that to just kind of push in together with 10s and look to take fights and just win them with, you know, that high-class aim we're used to seeing out of them. You know, they're a team that, you know, they talked about in that video, like, people just think that we hold W. It is one of those things where, well, they do. They are very...
The Operator and the Odin, sure, it's going to be repurchased, but that is not a light buy by any stretch of the imagination. So cleaning up those last 2 will actually put a little bit of a hamper on how steep the economy advantage is for Rise here defensively. Derek, very early, going into the Hunter's Fury, able to convert onto Shazam. Beautifully found. And even beyond that, you did have Shanks kind of try to make a play through mid-map, but not going to be required to find anything as the first blood's already confirmed.
Yeah, this is going to be great. Aldron's going to come out middle as well now defensively and might even be able to figure out Zom's position. Attacking lockdown comes into play. Neptune, though, just trying to play through it. Turret, though, will probably give his position away. Has to kind of divert back over to Tree Room, but able to get there safely. Man gets flushed out, but he's able to kind of play in the middle of all this utility and still stand firm on the site.
Yeah, this is not bad at all. He's actually got a little bit of help as Shanks will rotate up to the top. Neptune shakes off the detainment and finds an opportunity to take down 2. Not done yet. Dapper's still part of this play. He's able to find 1 in response, but every single bit of this hit from Sentinels has been squandered, and a lot of it is just the fact that Rise survived through the early utility play from Sentinels.
Oh boy. You can see Dapper was hoping for a bit of a long con, but Shanks going to be a really tough ask out of Rise defensively, who, you know, that is their strong side. That's their favorite side on this map. But again, they have, like, when they've lost some of these games, it has been because their defense has faltered, like against Gen.G and FaZe when they lost those series. You know, defensively, they were only getting like 6 or so rounds as well. They had to have like a really strong attack to help. They don't usually dominate defensively is what I'm saying. They usually get like 6 or so rounds to give themselves a chance.
So is that kind of the temperature in the water for you here? Like you need 6 or 7 if you're Rise on this first defensive half in your mind?
I think you need 5 or 6 rounds, yeah.
Okay. Well, there's the frame up. Rise going to get a little bit aggressive. Whoa, Sick Has he fully anticipated this? Timing might just be perfect. Tens is going to read it for sure, and they will very quickly back away as Sentinels will actually use the forward position from Shazam to get quickly on over towards A. Derek backing away, but look at Dapper. He's already cutting off this rotation in the back. It just comes down to the timing. Does he want to peek this or does he want to just hold? It looks like he's just going to hold. Spike is going to come down, and the trigger doesn't whatever.
No!
Shazam is still on the Spike, so he's able to take down one, and with that, it will go trade for trade. We're in a 3v3.
Yeah, let's see how the rest of this plays out because that was a little bit, I don't know, like this anticlimactic. So, I mean, tip your hat to him.
Yeah, that's intentional, of course.
Early detection system. You know, he's just like a really loud alarm bot. You know, that's all it was. It's all fine.
Well, Sick will take paint shells to clear out Hookah. Superman was considering contesting it, but backs away. Heavy defensive stack here for Rise over towards the B side, trusting that Poise can lock things down and maybe even walk away with one, but he's going to walk away with none as he decides instead to tactfully retreat, and instead, Rise are going to overload B long, trying to maybe play around the back.
Yeah, I mean, they have to roll the dice in around like this. You don't really have the weaponry. You have to try to go for these, you know, crafty pushes and stacks, and unfortunately for them, by the time they get into position, Spike's already down. Great post-plant positioning from Sentinels. They have a player watching for this flank. That's going to be Zoms. So I think all should be fine.
Okay, well, Rise are taking the scenic route, going through the caves. I mean, you got to go quickly if you're actually going to put together a retake off of this, but look at Zoms trying to fish out. Maybe they did go all the way around the back. Will get a read and keeps his life. Very important stuff, and the only play that could have happened from the pinch from Poise is taken out, no problem. So Sig just holding a corner. Good help here from 10. There will only be...
There's just so much info gathering and denial capability that the Sentinels composition is going to have with this double controller in play. Looks like this time they're looking to get a little bit hot and spicy early over at Hookah.
Shanks, though, does respond to this, able to at least keep Sentinels honest through Hookah, but they still will push forward. Rear will come out. Shanks playing through the octagon does not expect Zoms to delay too long. They're trying to hold the corner. Will find one. Spams holds down the trigger, but can't find a second. It's Tens who collects the kill, and with that, Sentinels will plant.
Be a tough retake now for Rise. All three players still stuck in the defensive halls, trying to come through with their boom bot, try to get over towards container. They are able to get into the site itself, but and you still have 4 members remaining. You still have Sick with the showstopper as an insurance policy. Spike planted really well for them. Be a very tough ask for Rise.
Wow, Sentinels are going to trust that wasn't a full-on defuse. The only player to check that is Tens. He's blocked by Nebulous. Now Zoms has to go back forward. Tens to find the trade. Showstopper comes through with denied. And Neptune, he's holding for the defusal. And Rise will sneak it right under the noses of Sentinels.
Out like that. You think Sick has that dead to rights and just gets cut off and clotheslined.
Early guiding light comes through, actually flashes 3, but there was no follow-up from Shanks. Just holding on to Hookah aggressively. Recon bolts over the top, destroyed, but information still gained. Shock Dart going to clear out the front side of Hookah. Shanks just underneath, hiding inside of the net. A lot of utility getting pushed through, and they actually spam down the wall. Find Shanks, no problem. Poise and Derek, the only players that are responsible for holding on, and Derek unfortunately cannot find Sit. Poise only good for 1, and again, Sentinels will collect and be able to find a way to plant here on B.
Indeed. Tougher retake, even more this time for Rise, as they only have 2 members for this one, but Superman able to find the opening frag pretty quickly there. Shazam, though, quick to respond. Neptune gets right back into it, and with Dapper being low on HP, maybe there's a chance.
Just comes down to the timing of the beacon, unfortunately.
Use that to get some space, and then keep an eye on it. Make sure that no one's going to push through it and do something crafty. You know, being disciplined to kind of keep an eye on the smokes. It's definitely a combination of things there for Sentinels, not just holding down the W key.
I don't know if Derek is going to recognize that his recon bolt did not connect with the billboard. It kind of went through. I mean, you saw for a moment, it was Zoms who was looking at it and was there to destroy it if needed to, but it doesn't connect. So Derek thinks maybe he's got an opportunity to push forward. Zoms denies him in now a very early 5v4 in which you still have Rise just on pistol upgrades.
Yeah, and they're having to just kind of stack U-Haul. And again, it's one of those rounds where you kind of have to roll the dice when you only have these basic pistols to work with for the most part. Sentinels Dapper going to use the orb to block U-Haul vision to get into site itself. Ten's also clearing out some corners there. And Dapper's aware of this possibility. You can see him throwing that snake bite, shock dart, follow up as well, and boom, that's Neptune down. And they're doing a great job of
finding an advantage. They rarely give away rounds or even deaths at that point.
Revealing Eddie.
There's all the alts now for the Rise in this round. All the alts.
Yeah, you have to win this round.
So Yeah, I mean, if you layer a couple of those appropriately, you should be able to make a big play somewhere, whether that be retake or holding a position. Sick, using his utility. Once again, they get that hookah control. It's always a nice staple to have, right? If you're constantly able to get hookah presence here with your Raze, it kind of denies intel and gives you a bunch of different options, but they're not ready for Neptune being boosted. He's able to get one, then goes down.
Oh, Derek Hunter's Fury locks down Shazam, almost connects with Tens as well. This gains a lot of space for Poise to continue to keep this Cyber Cage as the only bit of concealment he needs, but the Viper's Pit will provide a bit of a deterrence here. Poise is going to decide to push through this. He does have a couple of the trap wires to maybe keep him safe in case there is some sort of an existential play outside of the Viper's Pit. Defense is rotating quickly. Seeker's trying to help clear. Six still holding on to Hookah. That will be now Norn, but the Poise going to go right on inside. Cannot find Dapper. Big missed opportunity, so Sentinels still hold with 3v3 situations. Spike has not been planted yet, but it might not need to be. Ten's able to find one more. It's all on to the last two Rise defensive players. Shanks in the corner. He's got an operator and a pistol to use. He does find one. That will clear the Viper's Pit. Derek 1v2, not going to be able to find the first.
Rise, they didn't burn all their ults there. They only used 2. So they still have a lot coming into this next round, but so does Sentinels. And they have a very big firepower advantage.
Oh boy. And it's just after the Hunter's Fury, you feel so good about Rise's chance to hold off on the play. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's really the only way you can kind of frame up that previous round. Rise now in a very dire position. One-way Nebula gives Neptune an opportunity to play from up top. Does find one. Gravity Well will stall the play. Paint shells to follow. I believe he knows that he's got 10 stuck in a corner. But 10's able to slip through. Keeping his life is absolutely massive.
Yeah, that was big to be able to get away like that and at least keep yourself afloat, that they are still a man down, and Tens has no way to heal himself back yet. So this is still giving a huge edge here to Rise. Great crossfire for Neptune and Shanks here over towards U-Haul in closet position. And looks like they're able to start battling this attack back, though Shazam is able to get one. Gets it into a 3-on-4. Still has some time. They still have Spike possession. They could still double back to the portal.
Shanks does not expect Shazam to free himself forward past the teleporter. He's going to find after U-Haul. This has all gone wrong. Zymes finds the third. This was a 3v4 favoring Rise. Yes, of course, they're just on SMGs, but you felt so good about their crossfire locking down main.
Yeah, I mean, Neptune and Shanks certainly did have the perfect positioning there. They also did a great job pressuring Tens off and basically making him a non-factor going forward. It really was down to Shazam to make the play at that point, and Tommy was able to do it with a combination of shock darts and wit. Able to get himself in such a prime position in U-Haul and just come up with 3 big frags, and that's one of the great values about Shazam. I mean, he looked daggers at Iceland, in fact. So really well done there by him to save the day.
So now Rise looking at 3 ultimates to potentially spend. Cosmic Divide, Showstopper, Neural Theft on the table in their next buy round, and one that you feel like you need to win. And unfortunately, Derek, I don't think has actually seen the information on this play from Sentinels. Now we'll confirm it. Aldrone will be through to also double check to see how many players are here. Lear will come out. Penn still wants to maybe take away an angle, but he's not going to really gain too much with this. Derek still holding his ground.
Yeah, that was good. Derek got key information. Not only did he spot 2 players, but he spotted 2 players, right? And that kind of gives him an idea of whether this is like more of just kind of default and map control, you know, or whether this is like a committal type thing where they're really looking to get heavy-handed on the B side of the map. Not only that, they maintain control of hookah position this time around, which is a big adjustment because they've been losing that pretty often in the early round. So being able to maintain that gives them a lot more to play with on B site, utility-wise and personnel-wise, and also gives them a little bit more flexibility to have this third player rotating now over to A side and be prepared for this attack, as we are seeing the orb go down and it'll start to look to pave the way up short.
Gravity Well will stall them for a bit. Superman, though, gets spammed through the toxic screen. Oh, what a key loss that is. Boys now has to essentially vacate heaven to get onto the site itself, trying to contest from any sort of a point, but Ken seems to know that he's here, and yeah, sure does. Finds the kill, responds from the last defender over through U-Haul, and then Derek, who tried to wander on in, died. Only play available would be Neptune from the flank.
That corner basically get stuck there, and it just doesn't really allow them a whole lot of play. So Sentinels, again, just being very overbearing and are able to come into this round with a huge edge.
Oh, Derek. That is going to be a huge bit of damage coming through. Sick wants to contest, and oh, actually, Neptune wants to give him a go up here. And the double peek is actually very successful. That was a solo play from Sick, by the way. So a weapon has been collected. Opportunity here. Maybe pull off a thrifty if they can get away. Dapper was quick to follow up and does find elimination, but Superman, meanwhile, mid-map, keeps the numbers in favor of the side of Rise. Trying to hold the ground is poised. He will fall, and all of a sudden, the advantage of the AR picked up has been denied. Derek, who is tagged down heavily, will also fall. And it's on to Super and Shanks to try to contest. They want to go quickly. Flash will come through. Dapper playing through long.
They know that they have Derek pinned down low health back aside. They're able to clear that out. They're able to at least battle back and chase down the exchange that happened at Hookah, and able to still come up with a victory despite, you know, some of the things that went against them early on in the round.
A little bit more of aggressive defensive prodding going on here from both sides of the map. Successful through B-Long, unsuccessful through Shower. So we stay 4v4. Superman on 1 HP. That's the big key. But Sentinels are committing forward to get on towards A. Defensively, there is nobody here at the moment for Rise. But still, Sentinels a little bit apprehensive to go for a quick plant, so they still can fight back.
Yeah. The problem is there's no Shanks for Rigo, so Superman's stuck on this 1 HP, which makes him such a low factor in being able to have impact on this retake now. Stick looking to go all the way up with these rockets, and at least it's the 1 health player, I guess, for Rise's sake, but still a tough one.
Yeah, ultimate versus health comparison. Not exactly full value, but the elimination in the space, more importantly, was big. But Neptune can respond of one of his own, able to take down Dapper. Shazam playing from a clutch spot deep through middle. 10's here to guard him with an Empress. Space been gained. Neptune gonna stick on in. Hunter's Fury coming up. 10 wants to peek through it, and he finds himself two. One more available. Able to still dismiss on the backside of the Hunter's Fury, and the finesse from 10's exquisite.
Shazam alts just bobbing and weaving around and able to still steal the round away from him.
Early aggression here from Rise, and oh boy, it's all gone wrong. One flash will come through. That's just to get the Shanks away from the play initially. Tries to retake, but it's only good for one elimination. Looking good for 10 unless Poise can double up. Not going to be the case, and it's just down to Derek with a Marshall for a 1v3.
Yeah, some might say that Fawn's looking like a breeze for Sentinels.
Hey,
You
only
take that
been
one a bunch
sitting
of
on that
different
one.
ways. Now, I actually just came up with that. No lie.
I'm really proud of you.
That's my job here for years, so I hope that I could every now and then come with it.
Trust that I had something built up and was trying to spare the audience at large.
Yeah, I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take in commentary. You can also get yourself into a lot of trouble, don't get me wrong, so be careful on what shots you take, but, you know, take a shot every now and then.
Speaking of, Sentinels aggressively through Hookah, and oh my lord. It's just the spam that we've seen a couple of different rounds here through the edge of Hookah hasn't even give Rise a chance to fight back. Seeker's from behind, sure, but Shanks is so far away from this play. Derek is trying to delay with the Hunter's Fury. He does find one to his credit. But actually, Shanks doesn't go.
Okay.
Wow, okay. I thought by the Seekers coming from behind, they would have known that the play was going to be here sooner rather than later, but not the case. The spike doesn't get planted. Trailblazer will see Shazam and Rise could salvage a second round here, pending. Zombs doesn't do something unbelievable. And well, this is going to be a very difficult 1v2 as he will have to re-aggress back into the site.
Yeah, if his teammate could have stayed alive a little bit longer, maybe he finds a way to get this 1v1 against Derek and get in. But now he's stuck in a very difficult 1v2. He does have time. That's about all he's got going for him right now. Trying to find a way in here. Gets 1v1, but over 60% win rate defensively. And with 10 rounds already in the bag, seems almost unquestionable they'll eventually find what they need to get out of this one with the dub. But hopefully Rise can maybe try to put some doubt in that, as this pistol is certainly a necessity. Becomes a bit of a cliche sometimes when people talk about how important a pistol round is, but it really is when you're this far behind.
Yeah.
You can handle a loss if it's like, you know, 7-5, 6-6, you know, something like that. Even 8-4.
8-4, as I said, that's where I draw the line. Yeah.
Yeah, but once you're like down double digits, it's like, all right, that pistol, we're gonna need that. Yeah.
But Rise have avoided the early prodding of information from Sentinels mid-map, and they're looking to re-aggress here. It will cost them an owl drone. Sick will be here to read this. And also still has the paint shells. Oh my. Just the way that he takes that shell. Unreal. 10's up top. No problem. It's a headshot at range. What in the heavens is that? Rise will have to escape into the teleporter, but that is an escape that doesn't really provide them any safety whatsoever.
I mean, Superman's about to get memed on. Let's be real about it. The man's about to get absolutely
30 seconds left.
Yeah, go ahead and play like Astral Chess, but you're about to get wrecked here. They're trying to make sure he's still in the portal right now. They don't know for sure. I think maybe he might have got out of it. Fountain. Now they
Oh,
That's a nice little shot, you know.
1 for 1, maybe even 1 for 2.
Right.
Unbelievable. Well, Dapper shakes, maybe eyeing up potential play through showers, and Dapper is just going to make sure nobody will push through, so he will get out. And for Rise, it all really falls on this force buy situation with these upgraded pistols and SMGs.
Yeah, we already see Shanks taking a little bit of chip damage from the snake bite of Dapper, so it softens him up just a little bit going forward. Not too big of a deal, but small things start adding up when you're this far behind.
Yeah.
So we are going to see Rise trying to make an approach here with Poise through long. Shock Dart able to clear out Octagon to give him that little bit of space. Also has a player trying to get into Hookah at the same time. Great shot from Poise indeed. But the chase from Sick, Zombs is starting to give them right back the edge.
Spike was never a part of this play, though, and Supa makes his way forward. And beyond that, I don't think anyone's read that Shanks is as far past as he's gotten. So the spike will be retrieved. That's Derek who has it in hand. Sentinels are committing to rotate over, but this is a 3v4 where they don't even really hold the weapon advantage. So this retake is going to have to be sooner rather than later. Not like this. Not like this.
Player standing.
I love that from Zombs, knowing that Sick is in an exposed position down below. He had just jumped. He was probably going to get killed, and Zombs is right there running in to make sure he doesn't get a trade off of it.
10 seconds left.
Again, that is a decisiveness that makes Sentinel so great.
So 12-2 the count, and man, it's just there's not a lot going right here for Rise in this map 1 or map 3 now.
After it gets pushed off by the cam, Aldrin does a good job pushing Sick back deep into U-Haul, so we are seeing Rise getting a little bit of space here. Now trying to use that with the blast pack to get up there and get a pick, but Sentinel's able to keep dropping back little by little, but they still wind up folding. Big entries from Rise here. They need this to survive, obviously, and at least they're going to get a plant.
That's not bad at all. A lot of that was actually through the chip damage from the decay as well, so beautiful response here from Rise. Let's not get ahead of ourselves, though. They've got a long way to go. Regrowth will actually get this team back to essentially full HP, though, so that's good news. And Superman, little wide peek onto 10s, no problem. Boys looking for the same on the Zombs. No, surely not.
Surely not.
Weapon's been picked up by Shazam, though. He's got an angle at this. Able to find one. No, don't give him the second. Just don't give him the second. Okay.
Oh.
But at least they do have Sentinels on the pistols, so
That's true.
silver linings again.
Yeah, but the alts are coming back here soon for Sentinels as well. They'll be bought back next round also, so they really have to start getting into like 9 or so rounds before you really start to put faith in the full-on comeback for OT, but one step at a time.
Gauge triggered.
Information here, Shazam. No, oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Still, though, the fact that he gets one, it's already stalled the play, and Sick gets
down.
one more big
That's
map.
Spike.
That is Spike indeed, my friend. So Sick will move forward. Remember, the collect an SMG. Zombs is actually working this now with him. Seekers have been sent. Recon Bolt will reveal one. Although, Seekers, in combination with the Guiding Light, have both been deleted. Sick looking to take this fight aggressively, but Derek will find the second. And even though there was a bit of electricity in the air, it looks like Rise should be cruise control for a win. I mean, it's just after on Frenzy, he would have to do something unbelievable.
Yeah, that Trailblazer pretty much seals the deal.
30 seconds
no
left.
way for him to do the snake in the grass any longer. Shanks, if you can get this one, force another save, get yourself to 6. All of a sudden,
Revealing area.
you know, the distance you need to travel looks a little bit shorter.
Shanks? No. He thought he was cheeky.
Can't have that.
Yeah, avoiding the boom bot, but not the case, and Poise also falls. Not looking good here. 5v3 situation. No room for Rise to work with anywhere on the map. Unless maybe Derek can isolate Shazam here, but I think Shazam did catch the shoulder and is not interested in being gate kept, so he will back away. And it really all falls on what happens in this playthrough B long.
Yeah, I mean, they have to just send it at this point, but they're already down 2 players. It's a great setup here for Shazam and Tins, holding the Octagon position. Not really a way forward for them. Great little trade there, thanks to Shazam and Zombs.
Down, B.
1 left.
Neptune 1v3, trying to force it, not going to happen. So a handful of one-sided affairs here and there leads to Sentinels taking the series 2-1, and it's just off the back end of just two convincing maps. I mean, you mentioned it, you know, the rust off the ring to kind of getting back into Ascent, but Breeze and Bind were undeniable from Sentinels.